Warning: this video contains gameplay footage of Grand Theft Auto 4. Footage contains violence, sexual content, and very foul language. This video may not be suitable for people under 17 years of age. This video also contains footage from the first few hours of the game Grand Theft Auto 4. This is a spoiler alert. You've been warned. Hey there gamers, Sweet Johnny Cage here. Of course, us at Video Game Central have been privileged enough to get the game Grand Theft Auto 4 a few days early before the release for review purposes. Now, as the warning message said in the very beginning, there are some spoilers, although it's not too bad. This is really just kind of a first impressions video. The new challenger will be doing a full review after the game's release, but I wanted to give you guys my quick opinion on the game so far. Really quick, I'll give you a slight recap of the story, in case you don't know already. You play as Nico, the cousin of Roman. You come from some Russian-esque country. It's really just referred to as the old country, but I'm pretty sure it's Russia. Now, this game takes place in Liberty City. Liberty City is basically modeled off of New York City and its boroughs. So you are basically placed in the Brooklyn side of Liberty City, and for those of you who aren't familiar with New York culture, the area near Coney Island, mainly Brighton Beach, is fairly Russian, also Russian and Jewish. So that's kind of the background. Now, this is, again, a first impressions video, so I'm not going to be spoiling too much. But you take the control of Nico, the cousin of Roman, and basically Roman tells you in his letters to you when you're in your home country that he's living the high life in Liberty City in America. Now, when you arrive, it's obviously not the case because he lives in a fairly dingy apartment, and when you walk in, he squashes a cockroach. But Nico doesn't seem to mind too much because he's out of his old country and he's somewhere new. Now, it's not really hinted to at all, although you can kind of assume that Nico isn't a role model type character. He's obviously been in some pretty shady business. As he mentions in the beginning of the game, he states that he was in the army, and then he was in, getting in with the wrong crowd, so he's obviously done some pretty crooked stuff, and that definitely comes in handy. One of your first missions is to help out your cousin Roman because he has quite the habit of not paying back his loan sharks. They come after him quite a few times, and you beat up a few, and you actually wind up killing one. So this is what you're seeing in the background now. This is one of the first missions.
Stop this! Who are you? Get out of here. Yes. What about you? Come on, Super. Help me. Get out of here now. And if you come back, I'll kill you. You understand? You forgot this? You Albanian pricks?
Now, the game is very nice. Again, this is the Xbox 360 version. The PS3 version isn't too much different. The Xbox 360 version has actually kind of been promised some more downloadable content, including some rumored other cities. So you might see something like Vice City or San Andreas modeled into this, century, because those two obviously took place in 1980, the 80s, and the early 90s, respectively. So we might see something like that. You might have to fly a plane over to California or down to Florida. The graphics are very nice, although on the Xbox 360 I have noticed some frame rate issues, as well as, just kind of modeling glitches, such as my head going through a wall a few times, just kind of, glitching through it, although, I wasn't falling through the earth or anything, so that's good. It's good not to have that, so that's always nice. The PlayStation version does have slightly enhanced graphics, there's a lot less glitching in it, but, this is just for the Xbox right now. So the graphics are nice, the cars are great, I really like the radio. I've always been a fan of the radio, and of course they have an electronica station, which I've been listening to since I started playing the game. I don't listen to anything else. Sometimes I listen to the talk radio, because it's a lot of fun. It's funny to just listen to these guys just rant. Now, controlling the car has always been kind of shoddy, but and it hasn't really improved too much. I've wrecked a few cars, had to start a few missions over again, which really isn't that hard, and it's not too difficult. But it just kind of gets a little annoying. But in a game like this, that's minuscule compared to what you're actually doing. We've gotten a lot of questions as to whether or not the customization will be coming back as per San Andreas. In San Andreas, you're able to fully customize your character, working out, eating right, clothing, everything. So far, all I've noticed is clothing. You can actually go to a clothing store anywhere in the city and buy new clothes, of course, with your money. And they're actually added to your wardrobe in your safe house, which is, again, in Brooklyn, or the Brooklyn side of Liberty City. So far, I'm really satisfied with this. You know, it's basically what I expected it to be. Although I haven't explored Liberty City to its fullest, I've definitely gone around quite a bit. And let me just tell you guys, it's pretty accurate to New York. You know, New Yorkers would definitely appreciate this. I definitely appreciate this because I am a New Yorker. And the funny accents that you're going to be hearing are actually exaggerations. Your cousin Roman is a taxi driver, so very often you find yourself going back to the taxi depot. And when you're there for the first few times, you meet up with the secretary. Now, the secretary has a very, over-exaggerated Brooklyn accent.
Angels. In my homeland, we have a saying.
Yeah, we got one too. You're a fag.
Jesus, Roman, you fucking idiota. How can I take you seriously?
Very difficult, I think. Hello, Roman. Hello.
It's not as bad as that. If you're ever going to come to New York, it's not that bad. But it's just funny to hear because they kind of do talk like that. You know, we always talk, we say hall, coffee, stuff like that. So it's just funny to hear Rockstar's representation of that. Overall, I'm highly satisfied with this game. I would highly recommend it. If you haven't pre-ordered it already, you can either get the regular edition or the Collector's Edition, which comes with a whole lot of stuff. So I would definitely suggest getting your hands on Grand Theft Auto 4. If you haven't already, I would definitely pre-order it. You could do so by checking to the right of this video for a link to VideoGameCentral.com. You can pre-order it there, or if it's after release, you could order it. Although we can't really guarantee that we're gonna have copies after the release date, only because this is probably one of the most highly anticipated games for the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3. Thanks for watching my first impression of Grand Theft Auto 4. I'm Sweet Johnny Cage. Our full review will be coming up within the next week and a half or so from the new Challenger, so please stay tuned to that. Again, I'm Sweet Johnny Cage. Thanks for watching.